Hi everybody. So I'm going to do a quick little review of the Singer One machine. So it is fully digital over here, and I just wanted to show you a couple quick things on this machine. This machine is absolutely gorgeous. I love this machine. Up front here, under this really big table, you have a really big storage compartment. You can drop your feed dogs back here, which is kind of inconvenient, but for seldom as you use that, or at least me, that's not a big deal. The light looks blue in the video, but it's actually like a white LED, and then you remove your free arm with that button back there. My favorite feature about this machine is this right here, auto tension. I love that feature. So what that does is it automatically adjusts your tension based on the stitch that you choose. So here's your shortcut stitch panel. Straight stitch is selected. Your length and width can be adjusted here. And you'll see that as soon as I adjust my length and width from the recommended setting or the normal setting, that light turns yellow and shows me that that's been adjusted. So that's kind of handy. You don't have to turn your machine off to reset it. You can just scroll back through it until it gets red again, and you know you're back to where the normal setting is. So the reason, oh, real quickly, it also has just a very simple one-step threading, which is awesome. It has the drop and feed bobbin. If you're not familiar with that, that is a huge, huge plus when you're sewing machine shopping. So what that basically means is you drop your bobbin in and you don't ever have to manually pull up the thread. You put it in, pull the thread tail through here, start sewing, and it will pull up your bobbin for you, which is really nice. So the reason I'm making this video is I actually spent a couple hours in a Husqvarna Viking store over the weekend, and I thought I wanted to upgrade my machine. But after being there for a while, I actually think I'm going to keep my machine. So it doesn't have all the bells and whistles like thread cutter, fixing stitch, things like that that are really nice, but it does sew beautifully almost every time. So as long as you're switching out your needle and your foot to match your fabric, you're going to get a really, really good seam. I haven't had to adjust the tension at all with this machine. I've left it on auto and it's been wonderful. So I want to just show you a comparison of some stitches. If you're like me, you don't really have the time or patience to deal with switching your tension every time you want to sew something different, and so that's one huge plus of this machine. So this is a very light, very, very lightweight woven fabric, and you can see the nice stitches that the Viking machines did in the store. So I want to compare. Now I do not have the right needle or foot in here. This is actually a leather needle, because that's what I was working on, and this is a Teflon foot for the leather, but it should still work, and if not, I'll switch out the needle and foot really fast. It has the extra high presser foot, which is really nice if you have to put a seam or something in there. Okay, and so we'll just go ahead and sew. So my machine made a liar out of me. I think that's the needle that did that, honestly. I think that leather needle is just way too much for this fabric. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to do this with the video running. You'll have to fast forward. I do not know how to edit videos, so I don't know how to pause it and edit. So I'm going to go as fast as I can. I'm going to put a universal needle in. I'll just do like a typical 80. Okay, stick that up there. Hold it. I like to hold it with my fingernail. Tighten that. Trying to get this thread back in there. This is actually a serger thread. I know I'm doing everything wrong for this video, but I didn't have any gray, and that's what I need for my next project, so I had to use my serger thread. So hopefully I can get this in there. So while I'm doing this, you're probably wondering why I'm not using the automatic needle threader, and that's because I can never figure that out. Oh man. So that was one thing on the reviews when I bought this machine that a lot of people said, and I was like, oh, you know, I'm sure they're just not doing it right. But I've watched several tutorial videos on how to thread this machine with the threader, and I can never, I honestly, I haven't played with it a whole bunch. I've tried probably 4 or 5 times and gave up, and I figured it was just faster to thread the needle. So we'll try that again. Much better. So that first one, I just had way too big of a needle on there for this fabric. So you got your thread cutter there. So you can see the gray stitching compared to the others, so that's beautiful. So I want to show you some different fabrics without having to adjust my tension at all. So I have a very, very thin stretchy knit here. The other machines did really nice. Okay, we'll see how this compares. And again, you would want a ballpoint needle for this, probably a walking foot, but for the sake of this video. Okay, that beeping that you just heard was just telling me my presser foot was up. I lifted it too soon. Again, gray on gray, hard to see, but beautiful stitching on a very difficult, usually to do fabric. Next I have this really sheer fabric. And I want to show you how the stitches on the Viking machines came out. This was kind of frustrating to me. So if you look really closely, you can see how they were kind of wavy. And the sales lady kept telling me that I was not feeding the fabric through as nicely. So I'm going to actually run a stitch right along that, and we'll see how it compares. See if it does the same. So if you look at that top stitch, I think it came out beautiful, and I don't see any of that jaggedness that those, you know, $1,000 machines were doing. It just came out flawless. So I absolutely love that. And notice how I'm switching all of these different complicated fabrics, and not once have I had to adjust my tension. Okay, so the true test, right here I have vinyl, and this was a big deal for me when I was looking at other machines because I do a lot with vinyl. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers of vinyl, and you can see the machines did stitch through it pretty nicely without issues. So I'm going to run a stitch from this machine right along that, and we'll see. Again, that extra high lift is so nice to get your fabric in there. Press your foot down. I'm gonna go really slow, and I also don't have my leather needle in here, so keep that in mind. That would just make this so much better. And there is that gray stitch that came from the Singer one. So $1,000 machines left and right here, middle stitch, Singer one, $240 machine, and it came out beautiful. And again, I don't have my leather needle in there or anything. I'll do again another sample of this. I'll put the slick side down this time because that it always makes it a little trickier. So that their machine came out pretty nice. Okay, to get that look, I'm going to adjust my length of my stitch and my width. I could do a triple stitch, but I'm just going to do a quick straight stitch here. Again, see how that would be complicated on a normal machine. Lift that up, get that on there so you're not trying to ride up that edge. Keep forgetting to put my foot down, at least it tells you. Nice and slow. Look at how nicely that feeds through there. I don't even have to help it. I do have my Teflon foot on, so that does help. But okay, the gray on brown is kind of hard to see, but if you look closely you can see it came out beautiful. Okay. So if you are looking at this machine for any reason, I highly, highly recommend it. And like I said, I was ready to spend $1,000 on a new machine this weekend. And especially after, I'll bring this one over here again, especially after some of this stuff. Okay, you can even see these stitches on those machines really buckled the fabric. and on my Singer one it really didn't. And that was a huge thing for me because, like I said, I can go from any fabric on this machine and not have an issue, and that is my favorite feature because I don't have the patience to switch tensions and all those things. By the way, the Viking machines, you actually put in your material type and it tells you which needle, which foot, what tension, and what presser foot tension you need to make it work, and it still had issues. And look at my Singer one, I didn't have to mess with any of that stuff. I threw the fabric in there, selected straight stitch, and I went, and that came out beautiful. So thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful if you're considering this machine at all. I highly recommend it. It doesn't have the bells and whistles, but it works beautifully, and if you are a novice sewer, it's really nice because you don't have the stress of trying to figure out tensions and all those things. Okay, hope this was helpful. Bye.